I'm sure that if you've been on the internet recently and watch anything Minecraft related, you've probably heard of this silly guy, or the numerous clones of him clogging YouTube right now. Simply put, a malnourished, introverted cave troll stalks you from the edge of your screen until he overcomes his social anxiety to ask you out on a date where he molests you. Seeing this constantly is lowering my IQ, so I'm going to make my own actual horror mod that's not slop content. In this video, I'll go over the numerous issues with Minecraft Horror, and how I fixed it with my own mod. The first issue is that there's barely any mod content. Giga-brain developers realized you can just reskin the original cave dweller into pretty much any creepypasta, and X-Pro Gamerplay ZTDX on YouTube will make a video on it, where he describes how terrifying your Thug Shaker mod is and scream multiple times while a low-resolution model of Bendy and the Twink Machine chases him around and one-shots him. Good luck finding anything else in the mod, because there isn't any. Sure, he might break your doors or spawn some lightning, but it's really just one of those next bots from Gmod chasing you around. Like, if I wanted this experience, I would just install Gmod instead of playing this Dollar Tree 5 AM FNAF jump scare spyware. It's true that some of the better mods actually have some features like claw marks on trees, or dead bodies, or even this one, which adds the 1940s dimension. But for most of the slop, there's like one mob, and that's it. No tension or atmosphere, anything that would make the mod actually scary. The entire fear part of these boils down to a creepy face with a loud noise and chase scene. There's zero build-up because the only way you can get scared while playing this is from the instant screaming and ear rape that spawns when you spend 1 nanosecond close to one of these guys. The other issue I have is the difficulty. I swear half these mods will barely tickle you, and the other half have been doing steroids. Often there's no decision-making or skill to be learned, you just get jump-scared and one-shot after he spawns behind you. It's scary the first 2 times, but eventually you just stop playing, or make a skybase. On the other hand, you have the original Dweller, which was way too easy. You could win with a boat, or a pit trap, or even just a shield. Dwellers that do freaky stuff like send you to the Shadow Realm or kill other mobs around you are much more interesting. But even just stalking the player, like what From the Fog does, is already much better. Damage balancing is a pretty difficult issue to solve. The correct solution is to make a Dweller that scales with your gear and keeps you on edge, still rearranging your insides, but not Thanos snapping your health bar. Lethal Company does a pretty good job at this, where most monsters will kill you in 2 to 3 hits, regardless of what state in the game you're in, with one-shots reserved for the freakiest and most devious gremlins. The last issue with these I have is the monster design. I know that fear is subjective and whatever, but this generic giant mouth, glowing eyes, and gray skin is really overdone. The Minecraft art style just isn't really scary, and having all monsters look malnourished doesn't help. Really, actual scary part of the mod shouldn't just be in the monster, but in the events leading up to meeting it. Mods that horrify you aren't great, mods that terrify you are the real stuff. The original Cave Dweller worked because the scary part was hiding in your hole, expecting him to jump inside of you instead of just the running part. The build-up matters more than the actual jump scare. The actual design doesn't even have to be that good. It just shouldn't remind me of a cartoon character. The Warden has a pretty good design. It tells you the personality of the creature, and it's not over the top. On the other hand, this monkey should never have been made. Literally, who thinks this is scary? That's what I thought. I'll admit that some of these mods do the chasing part all right. The issue here is that it's generic again. It's actually possible to make mobs that still scare you without only running at the player. How? Mobs like the flicker from Content Warning work because its method of killing you is dependent on how alert you are to your environment, not just your reaction time or shield clutch. You have to constantly look away from the light, or your soul gets sucked out like a Slurpee, and you get sent to the Shadow Realm. Now we can get to the painful part, writing the mod. But I lied, I'm not writing a mod, I'm writing a data pack, because when you download a mod, you instantly become 50% less scared because you know what you're downloading. I can run the data pack and resource pack server side, and members joining have no idea what they're playing, which is exactly what I want. We're going to keep using OBJMC for this, because there's no built-in 3D model support in resource packs. That's going to stop shaders from working, which is a huge red flag, because having a VHS and desaturation filter is a core part of the horror slop experience. So I added in resource pack shaders to remove my dopamine and bring back the 3 AM vibes, and as a plus, obese people won't have to install anything else to make the mod look good. I've gone ahead and merged some other shaders together and used some code I found on this website to run this tape effect in the resource pack. The original sources are linked in the description, so go check them out. Now we have this cool TV filter effect, but it still looks like modern Minecraft, which is objectively not scary. The 3 AM vibe from beta Minecraft is simply unbeatable. You can't see ugly chunk borders, and the fog doubles the uncanny meter. I cranked up the fog shader and reverted back to old textures and sounds to imitate older versions. There's also some tweaks related to the soundtrack. The other part of the horror slop experience is creepy sound ambience, but not the weird whispering stuff or screaming because that's not scary. I'm talking about OG horror cave sounds and Disc 11. There's around 20 new cave sounds and a new set of ambient sounds I'll be using during events, all in the style of the original cave sounds. Resource pack work is done, let's move on to the mod content. Sandbox games are hard to make scary because the player often has nearly complete control over the world and can see almost everything. Most of the scary part of OG Minecraft comes from the stuff you didn't expect, like Disc 11 or cave sounds. Events don't have to always be jump scares or loud noises, they just have to be unsettling, like in the broken script, when Null mines through walls to get to you. Our enemy design will be based on being uncanny and unpredictable. I added this guy that digs through the ground, this jellyfish guy, and this guy that teleports around. They're all pretty slow, so you'll be fine as long as you have a brain. Mobs also have their own weaknesses, like fire, pointy objects, or water. This is to prevent them from being too OP and giving a strategy to win instead of getting curb stomped constantly. The spawning mechanics are unique as well, because I want them to be based on a statistic instead of random number generators. The spawning system is based on these nodes placed underground that spawn mobs in a radius around them. They move around by themselves randomly and constantly check if the player is within a radius. Being near one decreases your social credit, which determines how often the mod events will happen. Events have a chance to spawn a dweller or a minor mob, or cause terrain corruption, and spending too much time near the center will cause this to happen. I also gave the player limited lives to stop people abusing deaths, to reset HP and cheat the system. My role model, Terry Davis, once taught me the importance of living a schizophrenic lifestyle. I want to spread that knowledge, so I added this doppelganger dude that impersonates a regular mob, following you around until he explodes and eats you. I went a step further and added fake dummy spawns that mimic the behavior of actual cryptids, but these mobs don't actually do anything. While playtesting, I was reminded that Skyblock players exist, and they started abusing my mod by camping in the clouds and beating the system. These people need to be executed, so I've given them a few friends that only spawn if you camp in the sky. They also spawn these beanstalk tentacle things that decorate your world with some much-needed vegetation. Other mobs include these unique underground ones that have a chance to replace normal mob spawns. I wrote in this arm dude that drags you to other mobs while blinding you. It's kind of like the Hidden from Repo, but freakier.